6 months ago, I was about to give it all up. Now I'm in Youngboys' garage, cutting in front of Rolls Royces, Lambos, like just cutting, doing the same thing I used to do in my parents' garage.
Hey man, say man, it's your boy J2. We just tuned in right now to another How You Really Doing podcast. We out in Utah right now, and man, I'm here with an amazing person right now that in our Polynesian community making a lot of big moves. This is our very first time ever meeting.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
it's just an honor and a blessing to be in front of you, bro. Without further ado, this is Nanukuttz.
Yes, sir. My name's Nanukuttz. Yes, sir. My name's Nanukuttz. You know, I'm just another person, you know, living on this earth just like y'all. But yeah, I'm just a barber. I'm a son, a father, husband. Just out here kicking it, man.
Thanks, man. How did you even get into the barbering game?
Yeah, it's a funny story, man. So back in Cali, I was still in high school, but my dad wanted to give my little brothers a quick haircut, so we went to this like Vietnamese spot. They did not speak English, nothing. And this is back when the comb-overs was hot. So my dad took my two little brothers, and he told the lady, like, oh yeah, 2 comb-overs. 3 hours later, they get out the chair. She comes to the cashier. My dad walks up. She's like, no more comb-over. Take too long. And my dad went off. He's like, what, Mom? Ever since then, I was like, man, let me see if I could just, you know, pick up the clippers, do something. And it was super challenging to me, but I loved it. Like right when I picked up the clippers. So this is like 10 plus years ago. At the same time, you know, I'm playing ball. Came out here to BYU, was playing ball, but I was always in the locker room cutting hair, in my parents' garage cutting hair, and yeah, that's how it all got started.
That's crazy. Started from having to cut your brother's hair. How many siblings you have?
I have 4 siblings. I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest?
Yep.
I'm the oldest too.
Hell yeah.
How is it being the oldest and 4 siblings? Like, what is that thought process? Or like, how do you feel about being the oldest?
Man, I tell everybody, I feel like we're the guinea pigs. You know, at the same time, my parents had me pretty young, so while they're trying to raise me, I'm kind of, in a way, raising them at the same time. So I know a lot of the older siblings can feel this, but it's like the way we grew up was hard, and they were kind of testing stuff out. But now I got a little brother doing his thing, and he was always had all this freedom. I'm like, I don't trip about it because I understand. But definitely we're blessed to have that. You know, we're meant to be in that role. For me, like you, we never had nobody to look up to, so we kind of are setting the standard, setting the bar for our siblings, and every success that comes with my little siblings, I'm proud because I feel like I got a part of it too.
Yeah, no, definitely. What I learned too, like you said, being a guinea pig as the oldest sibling.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I'm trying to take as many risks and try to show it all, and like, man, I'll be making so many errors.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like as the older sibling, like our parents don't know because that's their first child too.
Yeah.
So we all go through those learning lessons together. But as the older sibling, it's like, damn, I'm taking all these L's and they see me mess up. But
yeah.
It's like my biggest goal in my life as being the older sibling is like, man, don't follow my footsteps, learn from them.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
So it's like every step I take, you don't got to step that too. Exactly. Learning from other people's mistakes are a great way to learn too.
Hell yeah, and that my dad always puts it. Like I said, I never really had an older sibling to look up to, but I always trusted my dad's word. He felt a lot, and you know, I'm a big, just like you, I'm huge on perspective. So it was up to me to accept his guidance or not. You know, he was somebody who dropped out of high school, who was, you know, running around, things like that. I could have easily followed, but my dad, he made sure that his kids would never fail because he failed so much. And it's funny because my dad always tells us, you know, like, man, I'm giving you the answers to the test. How can you fail? And, you know, at the end of the day, it's up to us to perceive it the way we want to. And I'm blessed that, you know, God put it in me and my siblings' heart to be better. Yeah.
Grew up with both parents too, your mom and your
father? Yeah, I did. And I never knew how much of a blessing that was. So I graduated with my bachelor's degree from BYU in family studies.
Were you the first to graduate in your family too?
Yep, first generation, and even that was a big deal. Yeah. But being able to go through family studies and seeing the statistics and everything, and just having my son, I had my first kid, he just turned 9 months, but going through it with, I appreciate it, man. But going through it with my mother-in-law and my parents, like how easy it is for us to wake up, get them ready, drop them off, go to work, handle our business, come back. The first couple of months, I was thinking like, man, I don't know how like single parent homes, like these single parents that do it. I give it up to them. It makes it easy for me to have my in-laws, my parents to take care of my son. But you know, I know a lot of people aren't fortunate enough to have that. So salute to all the single moms, single fathers out there raising their kids. Yes, sir.
And I definitely more appreciate it. Like I don't have no kids yet, but like I always say, like that's one of the biggest things that I'm looking forward to in life. And like obviously I got to find a girl first, but I can't wait to have a kid. And I say that right now, but when I actually do it, I'm be like, oh shoot.
Nah, for me, like, I don't want to talk like I'm an old head, like I know anything,
Yeah.
but I'm telling you, like, having a kid is the best thing ever. I honestly, when we had him, I was like, damn, I wish I had this earlier, you know? I understood it probably wasn't the time for it, but it's just like the light that comes off of him and just knowing that's you, like, it's the best feeling in the world.
For somebody that's about to be a parent or like, you know, thinking about having kids or anything like that, what do you feel like is the biggest thing you've learned? Or
Yeah, I would say is patient. I feel like anything that's forced on shouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? I feel like everybody's timeline is different. A lot of people look down on kids that have babies at a young age. You know, me myself, I have a younger brother who had a kid in high school, and I looked up to him for advice. And it's crazy to say that, but everybody's timing is different. Me and my wife, we went through college and stuff, and we kind of planned it out, but didn't really. But I would just say let things happen. Yeah.
what are things as the Polynesian culture that we do great from parenting, like as far as characteristics, qualities, lessons, and then what are some of the negative ones that we feel like we could maybe get better at?
Yeah, for sure. That's been a kind of a message that I've been trying to push a lot with this barbering stuff. Like you said, like there's a lot of things culturally that are pros and cons for us. I think the biggest pros are the things that are at surface level, with the qualities of respect and, you know, family and that. But I feel like it can get taken to a point where it's negative. And I feel like that comes with like our culture being so like, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I feel like that's a big mindset. And I thought about that a lot. Like, why are they always so old school? That's how we put it, right? And for me, I thought back to my grandparents. They were the first generations in America. You talking about like people who don't really know how to speak English, or, you know. So I'm thinking back then when they first moved to America, it was hard to get a job because they didn't have a high school diploma. It was hard to get a job because they couldn't speak good English. So they took those mistakes and see why they couldn't progress. And I feel like that's why they taught us that, you know, just go to school, just be a good person. And I feel like we're in a time and generation where we can make the decision, you know, and do things like I'm doing. For me, I want to start a nonprofit and go out to all the islands and hold free barber classes. You know, the message I push out a lot is, you know, you don't have to wear cleats or hold a pencil to be successful. I feel like at the end of the day, our culture, the main message behind our culture is take care of your family. Now we're in a day and age where, you know, you could do that by doing a lot of other things than, you know, just the normal stuff.
I watched one of your interviews recently, and you said when it came to playing football at BYU and being there for those 5 years, at one point in your life, you felt like you wasted a lot of time, like that was a regret. And then obviously you've seen the pros in it later on. Yeah. But being at BYU, what position you play over there?
O-line.
O-line?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel protected if you was your first too, man. I play slot receiver.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was kind of the experience at BYU when you were there?
Yeah, and even that was a whole journey in itself. But that's why I'm trying to use football how I felt like I was supposed to use it. So coming out of high school, you know, like I had it all. Not to like, you know, toot my own horn, but it was like I was all state. We won state championship my senior year. I had 30 plus offers. Like I could have went anywhere in the country. But yeah, it came down to signing day, and I decommitted from USC like 2 weeks before signing day. So I had to choose 2 schools to go on visits. It ended up being BYU in Colorado. Went to Colorado, and I was going to go there for all the wrong reasons, you know. Next week came to BYU with my family. I was like, bro, I'm going to Colorado. Like, I'm not LDS myself. Like, I don't know nothing about the church. It's boring. Sat down the night before signing day, and my parents said, you know, it's your decision, but for us, we advise you to choose BYU because we feel like it's best for you. And at that time, I felt like it was the biggest decision in my life, so I kind of bit the bullet. And I feel like that was my first mature decision I ever made in my life, and I chose BYU. But going through...
What were those reasons? Did they tell you the reasons why they felt like it was the best decision for you?
Not really. It was they kind of just went off of vibes. Okay. And every time I made a decision based off of my own intuition, it always messed up. So I was like, man, they must see something that I don't. Yeah. So I trusted it, and I came out here and going through it, like with the whole football thing, I felt like I was always destined to make the NFL, right? Yeah. With like from high school, having all those offers and stuff, and you know, actually gaining a starting spot in a D1 program and playing and stuff, you know. I always felt like I was destined for it, but when things started going downhill, I was like, man, there was something in my heart that told me like I was supposed to make it to the league. I was supposed to be in the NFL locker room cutting, playing. And like I said, the lessons and principles that football taught me, and I'm a true believer in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I didn't make the league. I'm not in the locker rooms putting on cleats. I'm in the locker room cutting NFL players' hair now. And I feel like I had that feeling of making the league, and I'm in the league just in a different light. You know what I'm saying? And that's through the Clippers and stuff. But going back to your question, like with the football stuff, like it was hard. Like I said, I thought I was destined for greatness, and when I graduated and I kind of got out of BYU, moved in with my wife, got married, got pregnant, and it took me a long time to hang up the cleats.
Yeah.
But I had my own bills to pay and shit, so I got a warehouse job, and I was getting paid like nothing. Couldn't even pay half the bills, and it was one night I sat there and I prayed to God. It was like 6 a.m. My wife was sleeping. I just looked up like, man, God, like I'm gonna give everything to you right now. I don't know what to do or where to go. I feel like I'm on my last straw. Like I'm gonna just submit to you right now, give everything to you, and please give me a sign. Went to sleep. 2 hours later, woke up for work, and I had 10 missed calls for Youngboy. And I'm like, and it was his manager saying like, man, he needs a cut. And it's literally 2 hours after I just told God, like, I'm giving everything to you.
It's crazy.
And so I was like, man, if this ain't a sign, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
And my wife's getting ready for work, and I told her the whole situation. She was like, so what do you want to do? And I told her, like, if I go cut Youngboy's hair, like, I'm not going back to that job. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to pursue barbering, but I don't know if I'm going to make more money. I don't know if it's going to be a better situation for our family, but I really need to find happiness right now. So, and she straight up just told me, like, if this is what you want to do to find peace in yourself, then do it.
That's the one,
yeah.
too.
Yeah, facts.
We need those people in
Hell
our life.
yeah.
So,
No,
like,
for
for
real.
you to have that, man, that makes me happy. Because
Yeah.
somebody that believes in your dreams, sometimes even before you believe in it,
Yeah.
like, those are amazing things to have. So I'm so glad that God blessed you with her, too, that where she
Yeah,
could,
me
like,
too,
man, let's do that.
Yeah,
like,
facts.
you looking for happiness, go find that. How did Youngboy even find you? Or
Man,
how
it's
did that come
crazy.
across, like?
Yeah, so one of my teammates, shout out Mo Unutoa, he left BYU and he joined the security team. They just picked up his contract because Youngboy was he's been on house arrest in Utah since 2021. So I cut his hair one day and he went into work at Youngboy's house, and Youngboy seen his haircut. He's like, hey, bro, cut your hair. And then he linked us up, and yeah, the rest was
He
history.
gave that fire haircut.
Yeah, for sure.
that haircut
For sure.
was the one.
Oh, bro, I'd never cut you like that again, like ever. Once you say Youngboy, I was going in.
that haircut. Well, he walked in the Youngboy and he saw that.
Yeah.
How was it like cutting the NBA Youngboy's hair? Like, was there
Man.
like a lot of conversation? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, at first it wasn't, and a lot of people don't know this, but when we got the green light and all the paperwork went through, sent me to Addy. It was the first time I went to cut his hair. I was up like 4 hours before, getting ready, like head ass bumping his music on the way, like, hey, I'm about to cut Youngboy, whatever. Pull up, he get in the chair, and I'm excited. I'm like a fanboy, low key.
Yeah.
Started cutting his hair, started asking him questions and stuff. No words came out of his mouth. It was just,
Oh shoot.
yeah, and I was like, damn. So after I left kind of pissed. I asked for a flick too. He's like, nah. I was like, man.
Shoot.
In my head, I'm like, man, that's why they say never meet your heroes. Like, you'd be
Yeah.
disappointed. I was like, man, I'm never coming back. So a week later, manager hit me again. Like, hey, Youngboy needs another haircut. I was sitting there, I was like, man, the money good. I'm gonna just go for the money. So I just
Yeah.
went quietest haircut I've ever cut. And then he asked me one question. Next haircut, a couple weeks later, he asked me another question. So it was like a slow build up, a relationship, but we ended up becoming super close.
What questions did he ask? You remember?
So he was playing like unreleased music, and at that time, like it was like the second, third haircut, so he don't really know me like that. So he's like, hey bro, can I see your phone? Like I just want to make sure you're not recording or something. I was like, yeah. So I showed him my phone, and my home screen's a picture of both of my grandmas that passed, and I guess he has a grandma that passed that meant something to him. So that first question was like, who are those ladies on your phone? And I told him like, they're my grandmas that passed. He's like, man, like you a grandma's boy? I was like, yeah, man, I was raised by women. He's like, man, that was dope. So after that's when things just started going up.
Are you still cutting his hair today too?
No, not today. No, ever since I started my content journey, there's rare weekends I'm here in Utah. So last year we started shooting with Teo, and we started traveling every weekend. He kept hitting me up, but I was always gone. So things never got back together. But I cut him for a whole year.
How did you get into this content journey right now? Because right, for the people that don't know, like, kind of what are you doing, like, with your journey, and like,
Yeah,
what kind of route are you on when it comes to this barbering and what you got going on?
yeah. And it's like no disrespect to the OGs in the barbering game, but once I finally got into it and got into the shop, I loved it. I have a passion for it, but I knew that I didn't want to stare at the back of the same chair for the next 40 years, you know? Once I figured that, it's a longer story, but, you know, I had to pick up another job last year because my wife was pregnant, which was the nightclub job. I was running security in Salt Lake. And I put all my boys on, my family, and me and my brother-in-law were sitting there one night, and we were just standing there just watching everybody enjoy their weekends. And I was enjoying my weekend away from my family. So we kind of made a pact, but we just looked around thinking like, man, this can't be the rest of our life. You know, we need to figure something out. And he knew Dante. He knew I had a talent to cut. And he shout out to Vic Blends, who's an inspiration to do, you know, cut and shoot on camera.
I was gonna ask you that too.
Yeah. So he was like, man, let's put it together. Are you down to do it? And I said, man, if I'm not, we're just gonna keep clocking in, clocking out. Like, you know, like, I'm down to take the risk. So that's how the whole content journey came.
And then Teo was your first ever interview like Vic Blends?
Yeah. Teo was, so that weekend we did a Cali trip. Teo was our first video we dropped. We did that weekend it was Teo, Dockery, and it was supposed to be Puka. Yeah. And then Puka fell through. But yeah, Teo was our first one down there in Coronado in San Diego.
Yeah, for those that don't know too, like bro, like once you hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Like, I came across your page because Teo's my family and I follow Teo.
Yeah.
And then you guys did the collab. So that's how I found you.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you know, we started following each other. And then all of a sudden I'm like, damn. Dockery, damn, you got interviews with Daunteezy, damn, Cam, Kenai, like, all Young and LB, like, you got just right off rip.
Yep.
Like, man, that's really applying the pressure. What have you been doing to, like, get into those networks? Because those are conversations and opportunities that not a lot of people even just come by, especially so early on.
Yeah, facts.
So how did that kind of come into
thankful, like, it was another benefit from going to BYU. I went to school with a lot of people, you know, in business. I went to a lot of people who made the league. They're, you know, superstars now. So I always had a network, especially working the club. Came across a lot of people. And then the Youngboy thing kind of blew me up too. But I always had a network. I just never knew how to utilize people. So once they were like, man, we could interview some people. And I was like thinking, how can we take that to the next level? I'm always trying to see how I can elevate. I was like, man, we know so-and-so. I'm pretty sure his following can help us grow and stuff. So. But a lot of it is I give it up to God because I feel like once I gave it up to him, he said choose barbering. Like everything's just been like it's just falling in my lap kind of. And I would say like luck had a part to play, but I really feel like it's destined to be. But like you said, we hit the ground running. Opportunities just came left and right, which I just feel like it's meant to be. But it's funny, like kind of going off topic. So once I got to BYU. I deleted all my social media. So I never had social media from 2016 to 2023. So it was like 7 years. So it was like a whole new world. But when the Youngboy album came out, my Instagram was probably a week old. I didn't have no profile picture, no bio, nothing. But once Polynesian Music blew it up, I was like, dang, I just zoomed in the picture, put it on my profile, like did this and that. And I'm like growing followers like crazy, but I literally don't know what like a collaboration was, this and that. But everything just kind of, just like I said, fell in my lap.
Yeah. And I think the cool thing that a lot of people don't really understand when it comes to, I think just in general life, like everybody says the quote is sometimes not what you know, it's who you know. Yeah. And there's like we talk about it all the time. We're talking about it before the cameras turn on. It's just like the power of having a network. Yeah. And going outside and doing it yourself. Like you guys are reaching out to people, like asking questions, like who do we know? Like what can we do? Yeah. And getting into those rooms, right? Getting into the rooms where we can have these conversations, and you know, like taking those jumps, that's like a big thing. And I feel like for a lot of people, it's hard to take those jumps. Facts. It's hard to chase that dream. It's hard to take that risk. Yeah. How did you do it?
Like I said, for me, my like leap of faith moment was that night when I was just praying to God, and I just told him like, I'm giving everything to you. That was my leap of faith moment. When I woke up and seen the Youngboy calls, I was like, man, if this ain't a sign, I don't know what is. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like it's easier for me to say that because ever since I took that leap of faith, everything, you know, followed path. But I never had to take the leap of faith where like there was big risks, you know? I feel like it was in that moment, but like for me, I feel like nothing will ever change until you make a move, you know? And like I said, in the club, like we was working in the club and, you know, seeing people come in VIPs, we're working for them. I'm like, man, I want to be in VIP myself. Like I want people working for me. Yeah. So how do we get there? It's like, yeah, if you want different results, you just got to do something different. You know?
Facts. And then the other thing too is like being a barber or like, you know, having a young one now, you know, and then chasing a dream. Like we still got bills to pay.
Facts.
There's still like life that we got to take care of. Like to chase a dream, like you got to do things that cause you to miss out on money.
Yeah, a lot of sacrifice.
Have you ever been in, what are some sacrifices or some things as far as those risks? How has that been for you and the sacrifices you've been making?
Yeah, and so when we finally decided, like, all right, let's do this Cali tour, this first trip with Teo and Dockery, we went through the whole trip, we had fun, it was like, man, like I'd rather shoot a video than go work a graveyard shift stuff. It sounded cool. Once we came back, started looking at bank statements, like, damn, is this how long this gonna be like this? Like, I don't know if I can last. So like with the sacrifice of that, it's just having a purpose. I really believe like you have to have a purpose for everything. Why do you wake up? Why did you put on this shirt today? You know? So, and for me, like I'm married with a kid now, so my wife's opinion means a lot. So I had to prove to her my purpose. I had to show her like, this is what it is and this is why I'm doing it for our son or whatever. But the sacrifice we had to take, you know, like it's obvious, like money. We had to sacrifice money. We had to sacrifice opportunities, missing out on money. But the purpose is just bigger than, you know, the process.
Stay close to that and remember that, why you started.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's great. My mom's been a barber all her life.
Oh,
that's who cuts my hair.
Damn,
my mom cuts my hair. My mom and my friend Zach in San Diego, because I played football in San Diego. Yeah. That was my barber when I was in San Diego. So him and my mom are the only people that's even touched my head before.
Yeah.
You know, I stay loyal to my barbers, you know what I mean?
You got to, man.
And yeah, my mom's cut me up and, you know, shoot. You know, when it comes to like health care and, you know, retirement and all those things, you know, those are things that I hear her talk about right now and considering. It's just a specific career. So I was curious, how does like maybe your family or how do you feel about, you know, the barbering game, thinking long term too?
Barbering industry is a tough industry, but I feel like to each his own. Every industry can be tough if you make it. But when I finally like decided that this is what I wanted to do, I was, like I told my wife, like I was willing to take on any risk or sacrifice I had to because I was trying to find happiness. And like I said, things started working out for me, but we're basically independent contractors. So I could sit here in the shop for 8 hours and cut one person. I only get paid for that one person. You know, so I feel like I said, making different moves and trying to find different avenues of incomes means a lot. But for me, where I come from, like when I left football, I took the football mindset with me. So when I finally decided I'm in a barbering game, I took that competitive edge and I'm like, bro, nobody's gonna work harder than me.
Yeah.
So the first couple weeks, I barely cut anybody.
Yeah.
But I still was the first one here. I was sweeping up everybody's hair, took in all the annoying customers nobody wants to take, like, because I have that nobody will outwork me mindset, and I feel like you take that in any industry, it's gonna speak for itself.
Facts. Well, what's something in life right now you're looking forward to the most?
Man, looking forward to. I think I'm looking forward for the fruits of my labor, kind of. Like you said, all this has been a sacrifice, and it's been a journey. It's been kind of a short journey, but like I told you before, like the way my mind works, like. It's still not coming fast enough. And it could hurt. I know it could be a double-edged sword, but I feel like you make your success. So I feel like I'm just ready to tell my wife, you know, like even taking her to concerts and stuff, like these are the fruits of our labor, you know, because I went and sacrificed all these weekends on the road making videos, you know, this is what we're getting blessed with. So I'm just looking forward to everything I feel like I deserve.
Definitely. I had this conversation with Tassi 1K actually about it too. And he asked me, he was like, man, when you're chasing a dream, how do you know when it's time to quit? And it's like, because, you know what I mean, we're working hard, we're grinding, and when will we see the fruits of our labor? Yeah. Will we ever see the fruits of our labor? Yeah. And that's that. When he asked me that question, you know, I was like, man, that's a tough thing to do. Yeah. Because we're chasing the entrepreneurship. You know, we're chasing the being great and taking risk and leaps of faith. And it's like, man, when will we see that fruits of labor? And when I think about that whole topic, I'm like, what if the fruits of labor is what we're doing right now? Facts. What if this is the fruits of labor? Yeah. You know what I mean? I really commend what you're doing right now because like it's just amazing to see. Like I just want to give you your flowers early too. And, like your fruits of labor is here right now. You're taking risks and motivating and inspiring people. Yeah. I know you just had the you just had the conversation or the Stack Bundle podcast with Tassi 1K. Yeah. What was that whole process like?
Man, it was crazy. It was so, like I said, I take a lot of, like when I commit to something, I take it super serious. So Stack Bundle podcast was one of my goals. Yeah. Like that was gonna be one of the ones. Like, bro, like by the time we reach that,
this could be
like
separated.
we're gonna be on top.
Yeah.
You know. So we sat down and made it a goal. So like I talked a lot about my network, but all the interviews that I did, it was super organic, and that's why I'm proud of my team and for what we did, because I could have reached out, you know, like to Fred Warner a long time ago, but I wanted it to happen in God's timing. So a lot of the interviews that happened were super organic. We literally just shot a DM to all these guys, and it just happened like that. But for the Stack Bundle podcast, you know, Tassi's super close with Daunte, my cameraman. So that could have been a call early, you know, like, but I told Daunte, like, man, the way I work, like, I want to prove it to people. Like, I want to give some value, face value to myself. So yeah, having, you know, the opportunity to go out to Seattle and be on the Stack Bundle podcast, it was one of those, like, you know, kind of we made it moments, but just another milestone in the content career, I guess.
And then understanding the content career too is not everything goes our way.
Facts.
I shot a video with Tassi 1K and I lost that footage.
Yeah.
And I know you're telling me that they lost that footage from that Stack Bundle podcast too. So there's just like, I just like raising awareness to like people that everything isn't always perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't always go our way.
Yep.
But we just roll with the punches.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Just keep rolling with the punches. When things don't go our way, we just gotta just keep going.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that I talked about on the podcast, Stack Bundle podcast, that I didn't know if it was time for it. And just like you said, the footage being lost, I feel like that was my answer. So I talked a lot about it on the podcast that I'm coming out with the clothing brand soon. And I don't know, you know Faavae Faavae?
Yeah.
So I'm collaborating. We're working together as partners. He's going to be the one, manufacturing my clothing brand. And basically my clothing brand is called Stay the Course, Big Dog. And it's basically what it says. And just like you said, going against adversity and things like that, I feel like everybody's story is already written. So, you know, why fight the good and the bad? You just got to stay the course and just let things happen the way it is.
Bro, stay the course, Big Dog is tough.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
That's tough.
I've been sitting on it
stay the course, Big Dog.
Yeah, for a while, and it's crazy. I came up with it because
I'm gonna need me a
for
cover.
sure.
I need some flavors too.
No, for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna need all.
Yeah, I'm cooking it with Faavae, so you don't know what's gonna happen. You know, I feel like that's destined for success. But so how that came about too, I was probably like 5-6 months in cutting Youngboys' hair, and I cut his hair. He went inside his crib to get the money, and I'm sitting there looking around. And I'm like, dude, I'm cutting. Like 6 months ago, I was about to give it all up. Yeah. Now I'm in Youngboys' garage, cutting in front of Rolls Royces, Lambos, like just cutting, doing the same thing I used to do in my parents' garage. But now I'm like at Youngboys' house.
That's crazy.
So I kind of took my phone and I just recorded my clippers and the cars and stuff. And the first caption that came to mind was "Stay the course, Big Dog." So I put it and I posted it. Looked at my phone 5 minutes later. All my boys, all the people that seen it, I just got so much positive feedback. Whether it was like a muscle sign or, oh, so I needed this, blah blah blah. So once I left the Youngboys' house, I just kept thinking about like, bro, like this the one. Yeah, this the one.
I like one thing that, like a lot of people like be trying to sit down hella hard, like, man, let me try to just come up with a name. Let me just try to come up with it. Bro, just keep on going and it'll happen organically.
Just stay the
just
course,
like all
man.
The things that you've been saying is the organic things. Like, stay the course, Big Dog. I love that. I love that whole concept. That's gonna be the caption of this thing, man. That's gonna be the name of this episode here. Is Stay the Course, Big Dog. Yeah, I love that. How did you get in contact, or how did that Faavae? How'd you guys get in connection?
Even that, like, so when I tell people, they're like, bro, who is like me? Like, why is he getting all these opportunities? I feel like it's just part of my journey, you know? So with him, like, I know some people that worked with him before. I could easily call them up, but I wanted it to happen organically. So he has a manufacturing warehouse in Carson. Okay. So there's a separate Instagram for that, and I hit them up. I was like, hey, you know, I got this street brand coming out. Can we talk numbers, blah, blah, blah. 2 days later, Faavae DMs me from his personal account. He said, oh, send me your number. I was like, oh, damn, like, what the hell? Like, So I sent him the number. He called me. He's like, nah, dude, what's up, man? I was like, bro, I don't know, bro, but I know, bro, but how the hell you know me? He's like, man, I'm a big fan. My son runs our manufacturing account, and he's seen your your DM, and he was telling me like, dude, Dad, this is Youngboys Barber, like he wants to work with us. So he was acting like super like grateful. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I'm more grateful for
that's
you
fire.
like having my number and stuff. And yeah, we've been in contact for like months now, trying to get it from the ground up. But he's been, you know, he's at the top as far as polys in fashion.
Yeah.
So I'm just, whatever you think, Faavae, go ahead.
Yeah,
man.
no, first Polynesian to have clothing brand in Nordstrom's.
Yeah, and retail,
Retail, like that's a huge accomplishment for the Polynesian
Facts.
culture. And then he has his own food spot too,
Yeah,
where it's a
the
vegan food.
Born and Hungry.
Yeah, and I came across him from Island Mogul.
Yeah.
Island Mogul did the interview with him, and it's just like, man, it's crazy how like all the dots is like connecting in all these crazy ways from
Yeah.
people that are like, man, creating opportunities and ways to see each other.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is like cool that everybody's doing, is like creating opportunity for each other.
Yeah.
Tasi 1K with Stack Bundle, you're excited because you're like, man, hey, this is an opportunity for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like just seeing Faavae and all these people like inspiring each other, that's really cool. Well, do you have like do you already have like ideas for like the clothing brand, like when it might come out? Like, are you doing summer fashion? Girls, kids?
No, we're doing it for all. We just have a one basic one hoodie and one base a t-shirt right now, but everything's in. I actually just sent all the bread last week, so it's coming out soon. We're gonna do a whole rollout, so everybody will know about it. But I don't think before the end of April for sure.
I'm excited for that one, bro.
Yeah,
Stay
man.
the course, big dog.
Yeah,
Hella.
I'm
And then even your podcast with the thing, you got the speak on it.
Yeah.
How did you come up with speak on it, and like that whole concept of what you're doing, like the Vic Blends idea with conversations and cuts?
Yeah. So like I said, me and my brother-in-law, we were working in the club, and he kind of like, man, we kind of agreed like, dude, this cannot be the rest of our life.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather do something else quick and make that quick buck and spend the weekends with our family. So we hooked up with Dante, came up with the whole thing. But a big thing that we picked up, especially in San Jose, was the aspect of teamwork, like especially in anything you're doing. So we kind of created this team with me, my brother-in-law, and Dante, and Daunteezy and them. Their formula for how they became successful was basically like everybody plays to their strengths, but not everybody could be at the top. So like for 454 and Cam and Deezy and them, they said, man, let's put Deezy up top. Let's all use our resources, bring him up. Because if he wins, we all win. And so me and my team went and talked about it. That was a crazy weekend, but for us, we look at it like if you're taking a road trip, like there's only one driver's seat. You know, somebody got to sit in the back.
Yeah.
Like if you trust me to drive, like just know we're gonna make it to our destination.
Yep.
So
that's fire.
Yeah, so we kind of took it for what it was. Like I said, I wasn't too deep in social media, but Dante was. So any of his ideas, I trusted and ran with it. My brother-in-law, he's good. He got the gift of the gab. So he's the one that's like hitting people in the DMs. He's the one bothering people. Me, and I'm just like I do what I do every day at work here in the shop. And just, you know, every time we approach somebody, we just ask them like, if you got a hour out of your day, you just get a free cut and you know, spit some game, then yeah, we love to.
The importance of knowing your role is like a huge aspect, and I feel like a lot of people aren't okay with not being the number one. So to have a team that knows everybody's role is like what makes a team strong.
Facts.
And you're doing it with Dante. How did you and Dante meet?
So Dante, he's close with my brother-in-law, Tino, and so during the whole young boy hype or whatever, my brother-in-law and my sister had their wedding week, and he flew Dante out to shoot their wedding. And at the wedding, Dante came to me like, "Hey, bro, like I see you did young boy stuff, like," and he straight up asked me like, "How can I help you?" And at that time, like it's my sister's wedding week, so I'm lit. I'm like, "Bro, I don't know, bro. I'm trying to chill."
Yeah.
But then after we followed up, and then we came up with the idea, and we told Dante, he was like, "I got a camera and a couple mics, man. I could run it if you guys want." So
that's one thing about Dante.
Yeah.
That dude is motivated, man. Daunteezy, shout out 9 visuals.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I met him, he's just a straight hustler.
Yeah.
Like straight grinder. Like, bro, oh, you need something? I got it. Like,
yeah.
Dante's always moved like that.
And it's funny how you said, because the whole struggle going that Seattle trip, and it's like, it was so much things going on. Like when he landed in Oregon, we had to drive down, pick him up and stuff. He was like, man, like I got my stuff all complaining. I'm like, man, how much you love this? Like, bro, what are you willing to sacrifice? I'm like, all right, bro, stop complaining. We're gonna make it work. So we always gotta, like you said, the sacrifice. There's always something that happens. But I always tell like the boys, like, dude, if we can make something happen and figure it out, we're gonna figure out the solution. So there's no stopping Dante, but you know, sometimes I gotta remind them.
Nah,
like,
we need people to hold us accountable too.
sure.
That's the other thing is like, everything ain't gonna be perfect, and like I be thinking of quitting all the time, but then it's like, who am I surrounded with?
Facts.
So like that's like one of the most important things in life is surrounding ourselves with those people that could be like, nah, bro. Like, so like that's hella cool because Dante's done that to me too.
Yeah.
I've said things and Dante checks me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hella, bro. Like I appreciate you, big dog.
Now there's a crazy story too. So after we shot our first couple videos, it started going crazy.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Dante, bro, it's kind of blowing up. Let's do a Utah tour. We'll just do the people here in Utah. She's like, he's kind of unsure. And I was like, what? Like, bro, it's doing good. So he lands in Utah. We pick him up. We flew him out here, took care of him, everything. He comes to get a cut. He walked out the car. I was like, bro, who is that? He had a fro, big beard. I'm like, bro, sit down, bro. Like, I know something's going on. And that's why I feel like the power of haircuts, the power of haircuts is powerful because I started chopping this down, like, bro, you good? Like, what's going on? He was like, man, I'm going through so much right now, but like, I did not want to come. Like, I do not want to be here right now. I'm done with this photography stuff. I'm done with I'm like, bro, man, chill out, man. Cut this hair. Like, we're going to run it up this week. So he was forced to do our videos. And then after the day he left, he was like, just grateful. He was like, man, I can't believe that I was going to give up my passion. And he was saying, he was so grateful for me and my brother-in-law. He's like, you guys forced me to pick up the camera again and remind me why I do it. And so that's why he's so like loyal to us too, because our mindset is like, bro, at the end of the day, we don't really care about anything else but, you know, your success. So after that weekend, he's been so locked in, and, you know, like you said, everybody picks up the pieces where they can, play to their strengths, and he didn't feel that strong that weekend, but we used our strength to bring him up.
A barber is a lot of people's therapist.
Yeah, facts.
Like that's sometimes where people are able to have those conversations that they don't have with everybody.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel when people are sitting in your chair, like, do you look at those as opportunities to have conversations like that, or?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you look at yourself like as a therapist in a way, or?
Yeah, no, I don't look at myself like as a therapist. I don't feel like I'm a person with all the answers, but I do feel like I'm super transparent to tell you what I feel about it. I have a perspective of like always learning. I don't care if you're 10 or 40, but that's one of my ultimate goals. Everybody asks me, like, especially with the content stuff, like, what is your goal, end goal with this? And I always tell them, like, I have such a passion to cut hair. Like, cutting hair saved my life so much. I want to get to a point where I'm not depending on it financially. Like, I really, like, if I could today drop everything and just never get paid for a haircut again, I would do it, because I'm so passionate, like passion over profit. And I feel like this is my gift and this is my way to give back. So I'd rather take the networking opportunity, the relationship, the uplifting opportunity to make somebody feel good when they walk out. Yeah.
Definitely. The perspective thing is the one that I'm interested in. I feel like the perspective that I have today, I haven't always had.
Facts.
And I feel like I had to go through a lot of things and like see a lot of things and do a lot of things to even get the perspective. And the way I move these days, this isn't who I was a year ago. It's definitely not who I was 2 years ago. And 3 years ago, I wouldn't even be considering that we're doing this right now.
Yeah.
What types of things in your life have you been through that you feel has shaped your perspective or got it to where it's at today?
Yeah.
Or has it always been that way?
It low-key always been that way, man.
For real?
Yeah, and I'm blessed to say that. At a young age, like I said, I was raised by a lot of women, so I was always taught by them. But at the same time, I'm going home to my pops, and his perspective's different. But I always was the one that was interested in everything. My wife always asked me, like I'll say some random fact about, the cone on the street. She's like, why do you know so many random things? I'm like, I've always been that kid that was never wanted to be left out of a conversation. So if somebody's talking about something, I always make sure I knew something about it. You know what I mean?
I love that.
Yeah.
Who's somebody that's inspired you growing up, or as of recently, who's somebody that you feel like really inspired you?
Yeah, my pops, for sure.
Pops.
Like I said, like I'm blessed that I had a perspective at a young age to accept his mistakes and turn it into blessings or look on the brighter side of it. But yeah, my pop's been the biggest inspiration for me.
What's been the biggest thing, like the biggest life lesson that he's taught you, or the biggest thing that you took it around?
Man, there's so many, man. But I think the biggest thing I will always take from my dad is to take care of like the kids. The way he took care of us, it was like, And that's why I have this thing I came up with a couple months ago is to fear the desperate man. Because I feel like a desperate man is the scariest force on earth.
Got nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose, and they're willing to do anything to make it happen. And I feel like that was my pops embodies that. He's been through so much. Like I said, So my dad, he used to be in a rap reggae group.
Oh, for real?
Back in the late 90s, early 2000s. They got a song with Fiji and stuff, so they were big, and it was crazy. They did a show in Utah. He came back home and looked at me and my sister. We were born, and he only made $200 off the show. And so he called his brothers up that same hour and said, I can't do this no more. I got to go work for my kids. So for that was a huge thing for me because he sacrificed his dream to take care of me and my sister. So I feel like I will always owe that to him. And I feel like that's for sure the biggest story because they were performing right behind Booyah Tribe, like BET, like Brownsville. And once my dad seen it wasn't making ends meet, he literally just sacrificed, went to a regular job just to take care of me. Yeah.
Did you ever get into trying to do music or anything like that?
Nah. I knew my place. Yeah. Like I said, my perspective was like, I tried it. I was like, yeah, it ain't me.
That's in the genetics. Those are big names to follow behind.
No, facts, man.
And then I'm curious because this is my first time ever to Utah.
Oh, what?
This is my first time ever to Utah. I ain't never been out here before, so I've had a lot of little culture shocks and things that I've been noticing in this area. What made you like? Obviously BYU. What kept you here? Like, how do you like Utah being out here?
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm super open to a lot of things. So when I came to BYU, which is it's a LDS school, with one of the biggest churches in the world. I'm not LDS, but my first religion class was Intro to Mormonism. It was for all non-members. And even that, I was like, I'm so interested in it because it's something new. I want to hear your perspective on it. Yeah. So I respect all the LDS and stuff, but everybody hates on it because it's boring or this and that. But the deals that my parents made was if I chose BYU, they're bringing the whole family. So once my football career, everything at BYU started declining, at the same time, my brothers were coming up. My brother had his kid. He would have never had a kid if we never moved out here, or that specific kid. My little brother started getting offers. So I feel like I took one for the team choosing BYU because everybody else, my whole family, my dad was happy. He said, when I die, bury me here in Utah. I found my peace of mind. So I feel like that sacrifice I took to come somewhere I didn't want to go, but for my whole family to be greater for it, it's like, dude, those sacrifices a lifetime.
Yeah, gotta do it. I watched the young LB one about the poly box.
Yeah. I
was curious, what do you think about having a poly box or there being a silly on the poly culture? Yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
So I want to say I'm the first person to ever come up with it, but that question we asked everybody because that Utah tour we had, and we were sitting there because we did Theki.
Yeah.
It's like, bruh, like Theki's huge for us. I've been listening to him since I was young. I was like, why he never got to the Fiji status or the J-Bug? So we're sitting there outside of Theki's house and we were talking about, I was like, bro, if you keep thinking about it, like if you really think about it, I feel like there's a Polynesian box. That's when that first came out. I feel like there's a ceiling, but you have a very few people who broke out of the ceiling. So when we met with LB and DZ and them, like you guys are some of those people who did it, like how? But yeah, I feel like, and that's why everybody asked me, like, are you only doing Polynesian interviews with Poly? I'm like, no, but that's just all the people I have networked with. Yeah. But I do want to do the Rod Wave. Like, I do want to do, anybody outside. Yeah. I just feel like for the Poly box, we put the ceiling on it. Yeah. We're responsible for it. Because even like when I'm out, you could tell people know who you are. They look at you like, oh, but they don't want to say nothing. Yeah. I feel like there's not enough, how do you say, like, people they shy away from giving people their flowers, especially in our community, because we're like quiet, respectful, humble people. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if everybody just like uplifts us, like we'll all win, I
was talking about just how talented the Polynesian culture is. Like, yeah. I mean, when I look at the Polynesians, like the way they sing, the way they dance, when it comes to sports, like it's just crazy how like talented our culture is. And I was, people like DZ and LB and the Fijis, what do you feel like was the thing that actually got them out the ceiling? Or broke through the ceiling? Yeah,
broke the ceiling. I feel like their perspective on everything's different, just like we always talked about. I kind of feel like they took everything that comes with our culture, but still turn it into something different. I feel like being different is, but like you said, like our probably people, we're super talented. Like we're natural storytellers. We're natural, adaptable people, respectful. Why haven't we made it? And I feel like for those guys, it's like they're not normal. If you talk, like you walk in a room with Deezy, you can tell like there's like an aura around him. It's different, yeah. And I think it's based off of all their perspectives, but a lot of them, like it doesn't have to do with religion. There for sure is a higher power, but I feel like with them, it's just a different mindset.
Yeah.
Like
So mainly just like an aura and the way they think has brought them to their success.
For sure, I think it's all their perspective because, like you could say they're all successful, but their success is all different.
And I even to piggyback off that, I think how we say like the Polynesian culture is like so talented. It all comes back to the mindset.
Yeah.
Like ideas, thoughts, dreams don't win the game.
Yeah.
It's only action.
Execution.
Execution. Like what are you doing after the thought?
Yeah.
And I feel like those are people that have that aura, but it's the perspective and the mindset that I feel like the people should really understand and get to think about a little bit more so.
Yeah.
Like, which is how I got into podcasts and reading, and because I feel like that's where I was lacking. I feel like I've always just been a competitor, but my mindset, I feel like could grow significantly. And it's hanging around people like you and having conversations like this, or like auras that Daunteezy and LB have. So it's like finding those people that you can surround yourself and have those conversations with. So it's just super cool to see that you're having those conversations with those people because you're one of those people too.
Yeah.
And just to kind of get to the little tail end of our conversation here, what is the thing that you're most passionate about?
Most thing I'm most passionate about?
What brings you the most happiness?
Family, for sure. It sounds like cliche, but that is my all my purpose.
For sure. If you were to sum up in one word, what you want to get out of life, what would that be?
Peace. Yeah, I feel like finding peace in yourself, like that's all you could really ask for. Yep.
And then what's one message you feel like the world needs to hear right now?
One message. Man, I would say one scripture that drove me from a year ago was Isaiah chapter 60, verse 22. And it says, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. And it just goes back to staying the course, man. Everything's already written, Don't force things to happen. Just let everything flow and just have a purpose for why you do everything in life.
Yep, that's facts. God's timing.
Facts.
I always feel like everything's supposed to happen when it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Until then, just do what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
just keep waking up.
Yeah, just keep waking up. Life's about showing up, man. Just show up. And I always also say just take it one day at a time, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're one haircut away.
Exactly.
We're one podcast away.
Exactly.
I'm one song away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just don't even look at the long term. I don't even be setting no big long term goals for myself no more.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing tomorrow? What am I doing right now? Like,
exactly.
Take it one day at a time. When it's all said and done, obviously I said not talking about long term, but when it is all said and done, like what do you hope to leave behind, or what's your biggest goal? What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for somebody who took care of his family, but was also a trailblazer in his own community. And I feel like taking this barber route is helping me do that. And it's a longer story, but fuck it, I'll sell it. Yeah. So
this is what we're here for. So man, we got time, man.
So my brother-in-law that I'm doing all the videos with, he has his little brother stay in Seattle, so he got suspended from high school. From his school, and so his parents sent him out here to my brother-in-law to like talk him in or whatever. So he's chilling with us, and I was like, "Sire, what are you doing tomorrow?" He's like, "Nothing. I'm suspended." I'm like, "Sure, you want to go to Youngboys' house? I got to cut his hair in the morning." Like, what? I was like, "Yeah, you can't come out the car, but I just think it's a be dope for you to come see somebody you listen to." So we go there, and it's a regular appointment. Like Youngboy I just need a haircut. So we pull up to the house, and then Youngboy's all dressed up, blinged out. I'm like, man, what's going on? So I walk down to Youngboy. He's like, "You got a family?" I was like, "Shit, I got a kid on the way." He's like, "Man, I want to help you take care of your family." I'm like, "What you mean?" He's like, "I'm gonna put you on my album cover." I was like, "What?" So he's like, "It might take a couple hours, but for the photographer to come, but yeah, you're gonna be on my album cover." I'm like, "Bro, take all the time you need, bro." Like, so I'll go back to the car, and I tell my little brother-in-law, and he's like, "What the hell?" So Youngboy's over here trying to like plan everything how he wants the scene to be, and he looks in the car. He's like, hey, who's that? I was like, oh, that's my little brother, blah, blah, blah. He was like, come here, bro. So he goes in his garage and grabs his dirt bike. He's like, hey, bro, just right around the street. It's going to be a while. So my little brother-in-law, suspended from school, comes out to Utah, and he's riding Youngboys dirt bike through the neighborhood.
Damn.
So he's like crying. He's like calling, Mom, look at me. So after all that, we did the whole photo shoot, whatever. We were leaving, and I was driving, feeling good, whatever. He was sitting, he was like, damn, so this is how it is being a barber? I was like, hell no. Like, bro, I had to work for this. This is not it. So we go back home, and he's like showing his friends. Yeah. So he goes back to school. A couple weeks later, I called to see how he's doing. I said, man, he really wants to be a barber now. He joined this barbering program, and for him to stay in it, he has to keep his grades up. So his grades are up now. And now he's like posting videos. He's like super inspiring. I feel like, dude, I've never felt like I've ever inspired somebody like that. So being an inspiration, I feel like that's a huge thing for me. And to having a story like that, like every time he looks up to me like big time. And I feel like I changed the course of his life. Like he was on a path where he didn't know where to go. He was just doing bad things, messing with the wrong crowd. But that one day just changed the whole course of his life. I feel like it's super powerful for me.
It's crazy powerful.
Yeah, it's a crazy story.
Yeah, I'm glad you told it.
Yeah.
You was about to hold the best story back, man. Thank you for telling that, man. And you know, I just want to let you know that you're inspiring me too.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're inspiring a lot of people. So, you know, keep doing it. Keep staying on that course. You know, I'm rooting for you, as is a lot of people. So, you know, I'm excited for your future. And, you know, thank you so much for sitting down with me today, bro.
Nah, thank you, man. Thank you for the opportunity. Like, when you first followed me, I was like, I didn't, like I said, I'm new to social media. But I'm looking, I'm like, bro, this should look professional. Like, he does this. Then you start doing the morning walks and talks. I'm like, damn, like, man, let me pick up some shit. Let me write some of these quotes. But I appreciate you even considering, man. Like I said, this will probably be my first time being on somebody else's content or page. So, like, I know for sure this moment was supposed to happen. You know, it wasn't an accident. There's a lot of things that had to happen to make this happen. And like I said, I'm a true believer in everything happens for a reason. So we for sure, bro. We locked in now.
Yeah,
man.
We locked in for sure. Yeah, man. I noticed it, man. So I want to say out to the people, man, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode. I'm out here with Nanu, man, in Utah. And, you know, y'all have a good rest of y'all day. Y'all stay blessed, and we're going to see you on the next one.
Yes, sir. Shout out J2.
Yep. Shout out my guy. Man,
my guy, bro. I appreciate you, man.
Stay the course, big dog.
Yes, sir.
Man, that's the one.
Yeah, I'm going to hit